So during Women's Month, I always wrote a her story. It was a story about one of the women here in our congregation. It was the story of her life. And you really don't know someone until you've walked in their shoes. So the her story is your time to walk in someone else's shoes, to hear their story the way they saw their story. A lot of times we have judgments and preconceived notions about people and their lives, and we don't know what they've been through. So the her story serves that purpose. I don't tell you who it is until we're at the very end. If you know who it is, please don't say anything. Don't move. Don't let everybody enjoy the story. Okay? So what happens is I ask a woman in the congregation for her story. She gives it to me. I sit with spirit. I rewrite that story the way spirit gives it to me because we don't give ourselves credit for making it. So then I rewrite the story. That woman hears her story when everybody else hears her story. Some things are left out purposely because some things you share just for your healing. It ain't for everybody to know because all of us haven't gotten there yet where we can keep things sacred and hold space for one another. So today I'm going to do the her story. The title of this story is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? I guess you can say that I was a curious, determined, friendly, spunky little baby. And the Lord knows you wouldn't be lying. My parents' first and only, for a little while anyway. My little sister came along after me and would prove to be my best friend. We did everything together. My parents were as different as night and day. My father loved all things nature, and my mother loved all things creative. For my sister and me, our parents' differences meant dainty dance classes and painting one day, and rugged camping and beach excursions the next. My father was military, so we moved a lot. It didn't bother me though, because I've never met a stranger. I could adjust quickly and make new friends. I have a very large extended family, and my best memories were with my many cousins. My dad's family lived in Norfolk, and my mama's family lived in Newport News. And although we moved a lot, the extended families kept us grounded. During the week, since both parents worked, we were latchkey kids. I was quite adventurous and very athletic for my small stature. One time in particular, I remember coming from school and being bored. Lord help me if I was bored. I talked my sister into going to the sixth floor in our apartment building hallway. My intention was to slide down from the sixth floor to the first floor because the steps were continuous all the way down. We got to the top. I was going first because I was the oldest, and also because I really don't remember my sister being in full agreement. I began to slide down. Right from the beginning, I knew that this stunt was going south. Literally, my tiny body shifted and I fell off the side of the banister, straight down the middle of the stairwell. My Lord, my God. Thank goodness it was winter and I had on my mittens. My mitten got caught on the banister somewhere around the third floor, and for a split second, I thought it would break my fall. I looked up and I saw my sister reaching out as if she could save me. Then the mitten gave way and I fell the rest of the way to the bottom. I ended up with my bottom sitting on the bottom step. Unbelievably, no broken bones, only a busted lip. That was my first adventure, but there would be many more. Mama put us in every after school program she could find, and we always had something to do. But it was about this time that my parents started having marital problems. They tried very hard to shield us from the arguments, but eventually, as we grew older, we began to feel the impact. It was about this time that we moved to Hampton, and we now have two brothers also. Mama found another class to put us in, gymnastics. Child, that was right up my alley. I was already used to my dad and my uncle throwing me up in the air and catching me. Sign me up. I was very small for my age, but in gymnastics, my size didn't bother me. I loved it. So mama kept me in there by collecting and cashing in green stamps. My parents' issues continued, and to keep from feeling the sadness of it, I stayed busy. When I entered middle school, I was introduced to the violin, and I loved that too. It turns out that I was not only gifted in gymnastics, but also in music. My violin and music became my escape from everything. I loved my concerts because my parents would attend my concerts together. By the time I was in high school, I excelled in violin, indoor and outdoor track, and business. I had earned a trip to state and a varsity letter in gymnastics. In my senior year, I met my first real boyfriend. Not long after that was my first real pregnancy, followed by my first real sadness. Pregnant in my senior year, after all of my hard work and accomplishments, I knew that I needed to graduate to be in the best position to take care of my new baby. I knew that I had made a mistake. I knew that there would be consequences to my gymnastics. I knew all of that, but I was still just a young lady who was a senior in high school and having a baby. So, of course, I wanted my prom and I wanted my first baby shower. So, mama made my dress. It was beautiful, and child, so was I. I waited for my date to pick me up. I waited, I waited. I sat in the window, I waited. I began to cry. I waited. I knew he stood me up. Sadness. My baby shower would prove to be not much better than my prom attempt. No shower, no party, no gifts, no friends. Sadness. I needed to know why. My baby shower would prove to be not much better than my prom attempt. No shower, no party, no gifts, no friends. Sadness. I needed to know why. I asked, and the reply was, "You're never going to be nothing." Sadness. But this time, sadness so deep that a part of me died. Fast forward into my early 20s. I'm now a single mom with a 2-year old daughter, a beautiful little chocolate chip that I love more than life itself. I also had a new boyfriend. And one summer day, with nothing to do, he asked me if I wanted to try something. Remember, I talked about whenever I'm bored? But I trusted him. He gave me what he had and told me what to do with it. This would be the start of my almost 10-year drug addiction. My addiction was brutal, almost debilitating. In moments of clarity, I was sure that I was being punished by God for something that I had done wrong. I didn't know the damage that the drugs were doing. I just wanted and needed more. I knew I had to stop, and I tried. Every now and then, I would go to whatever church was near. Lord God, help me. Please help me. I found a rehabilitation center. I could stay for 7 days, as many times as necessary. So I would stay for 7 days, and then I would have to check out. There was a waiting list, but I was determined. And so I said, I'm not leaving until you can call my name. I stayed outside through the night on the sidewalk, waiting for my name to be called. Laying on the sidewalk, I would sing, shake, 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 shake the devil off. But I couldn't shake him off. They finally called my name. I would stay my 7 days, then back to the addiction, then back to the rehab, back to the sidewalk to sing Shake the Devil Off. This devil was unshakable. They called my name. I stayed my 7 days. Now I'm in a good place. My sister is getting married. I am so happy, and I'm in a good place, or at least I thought I was. One day after attending my sister's wedding, I kept on the jewelry from the wedding because I felt so beautiful. Had gone down to a local store, and coming from that store, I passed a man who grabbed me by my neck. I thought he wanted the jewelry, but then he instructed me to move. He shoved me in the direction of a dark abandoned house. Everything in me knew that this was not going to end well. He gave me illicit instructions. I was so afraid. I had to think of something. I started talking to him, and with one small second of clarity, I took off, running back through that dark house, trying to remember the halls and the doors that had led me to that back room. I could hear him scuffling in the background behind me. He was getting closer. I'm running in the dark on memory and adrenaline. All of a sudden, with no warning, I run into a wall face first. Because of my size and the impact in which I hit the wall, I stuttered and I fell backwards. But I was not deterred. I jumped up and I kept running. I found myself outside the house. I'm running for dear life from house to house, first to door one with no answer, then to door two, no answer. Finally, at door three, someone answers. By this time, I'm sobbing and trying to explain what I have just gone through. When, by the grace of God, I see my cousin walking down the street. The Good Samaritans at house number three wrapped my near naked body, and my cousin walked me home. Sadness. Back to the addiction. This time, it was so real that nothing fazed me. I was scared, alone, and I needed my next hit. I just needed to feel better. By now, I have two beautiful baby girls, and my sister and my mom are raising them. I told myself that I had nothing to give them anyway, and I believed that. I believed it. I couldn't face my girls in spite of their cries of begging me not to leave, begging me to stay every time they saw me. All that played in my head is, you never gonna be nothing. That was my story. I tried telling myself to stop. I knew I had to stop. One time when I was in rehab, I was told that it generally takes 7 times in and out of rehab to break an addiction. Okay, I thought. But first, I have to get serious about wanting to be clean. I prayed, God, please help me. I don't know how. I don't care how. Please help me. By the way, I knew that this time was going to be different. I said to God, I'm going to need more than 7 days to shake this devil off. I know now that how God delivers is none of my control. It's none of my business. That's out of my hands. God answers prayers in whatever way He decides. One night while walking home, I was walking in the middle of the street to avoid the neighborhood dogs. I was stopped by two police officers that wanted to know why I was walking in the middle of the street in the middle of the night. They asked if I had any warrants. I didn't know what warrants were. I didn't know what they were talking about. So I figured I better run. And run I did. They gave chase, and one got close enough to put his hands on me. He should have never put his hands on me. I went off on him and I hit him. Then I went off to jail. I have officially hit rock bottom. I was sentenced to 33 days in jail. I knew I would need more after the 33 days. I needed tools to deal with the sadness, the disappointment, and the pain that I had experienced in my life. So I wrote a letter to the judge and asked to be sent to drug court. He agreed. This was my chance to start again. I was doing so well when in 1999, still attending drug court, I met Steve. Every time he saw me, he would smile. One day I called him over, and that was the beginning of a beautiful relationship. He would take me to drug court and pick me up. At this point, I was about a year and a half clean. I graduated from drug court in 2000 after serving those 33 days, 6 hours, and 23 minutes. Believe it or not, I even excelled in drug court, just like I did in school. I became pregnant again, but this time it was different. I was clean, everything was fine, and my baby's father was with me. I had a son, and not long after that, I had a dream of a baby girl, and she was born 2 years and 2 days later. In 2007, Steve and I finally tied the knot. It's been 15 years now, and although this journey hasn't been easy, I can say it has been easier. Our children, my two beautiful girls that my sister raised, my son and my baby girl, are healthy. My family is healthy and my heart is healthy. I don't say that the Lord is working on me because the Lord has completed his work. I say I have my work to do. I can never repay my sister and my family for what they've done for me. But what I can do is stay clean for them and for myself. I know why the caged bird sings. Because sometimes the cage is where you get your second chance. It's where I got mine. I am Sister Kim Osborne.